the Brinks truck guys would come in with these huge duffel bags, and I knew there was tons of money right there sitting beside me.
Piles of cash.
Never took a dime, never took a dollar. Welcome back to the Weather Podcast, Mike. We're back. Let's get ripped and talk about The Rip on
Brand new
Netflix.
movie on Netflix.
Yeah, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. So a couple of Boston boys talking about a couple of Boston boys.
Yeah, literally they grew up like 20 minutes from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, that's true. I have to go back to we talked about Good Will Hunting on the podcast because that's in my top. It's my top film of my top 5, but that's my top film. Yeah,
that's your number one.
It's my number one.
Wow.
Yeah, and it hasn't moved out of that spot since we've been doing the podcast.
I mean, it's a great movie. It's not in my top 10, but
yeah, it's the top 5 for me.
I love seeing these two together.
Well, I think that's the main appeal. That's the main attraction, right? Is the two of them. These are guys that have known each other for like 40 years.
Yep.
I have one of those relationships, friendships in my life that goes back even further, quite frankly.
And I do too. I
don't
have one
work
further
together.
than yours.
I don't know. You don't go back to kindergarten, I don't think.
No, junior high.
Yeah, I got you beat.
Yeah.
But maybe in terms of how many years you've been around.
Yeah, that's what I was
possible,
thinking.
yeah.
Years.
Do you notice I said to hell with the Oh Brother merch tonight in honor of the, as we're recording this, the win we just came off of with the New England Patriots. So I just leaned into.
You're down in the.
Yeah,
people are going to hate us for that. Don't hate us.
No, they're not. Well, it is easy to hate the Patriots, right? Any of the Boston, because we're one of those markets and we were a dynasty and we've won multiple times in our lifetime. All of our teams have won.
But I want to say, though, I went through years and years and years of losing.
Correct.
So, and I was in California when they started to win. I wasn't even there.
Right. Yeah.
But
anyways, it's not a podcast about that, but it's related because, Matt and Ben, big
Boston guys,
big Red Sox, big Patriots, big Celtics, all that, So anyways, so we want to get into The Rip, but, going back to Good Will Hunting, that was such a big deal. I mean, and I think you said, seeing these guys on the screen together, working together in some capacity. But, this goes all the way back to that win in 1998 when they won the Best Original Screenplay for Good Will Hunting.
Right.
And then, of course, the late, absolutely great Robin Williams, who won Best Supporting Actor as well. The story surrounding that whole thing, how it got made, and just their story is very inspiring for anybody, really, but certainly anybody that's looking to get into this business.
Right.
Not that everybody's going to have the fortune and be able to rise to the ranks that they have, but we'll talk a little bit about their involvement in trying to help make that happen for more and more creatives in the field, quite frankly. Now, we've talked about these guys on the podcast. We've got some playlists out on the YouTube channel for those that follow us there, or if you don't already, go out and subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the videos out there. But there's a lot of curated playlists out there. Because we've done an episode on the movie Air that Affleck actually directed, right? And Matt Damon, of course, was in that with him. The whole Michael Jordan.
What year was that?
That was just a couple of years back.
Oh, because and this shows you how reliable AI can be. I went on AI and I said, when's the last time Ben and Matt worked together? And it came up The Last Duel, which I didn't even make it through.
Well, The Last Duel. No, I think The Last Duel was older than Air, I believe.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago, 2021.
Yeah, Air was definitely in the last couple of years. So,
yeah,
we reviewed both of those films, I think. I know we reviewed Air.
Yes.
But maybe not Last Duel because you just said you didn't finish it. So we didn't do that.
And I don't remember Damon being in Air. I remember Ben.
Oh, yeah.
He
Damon
played,
was in
like,
there.
the Nike guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget the name of his character. Look it up. You can look it up on
Yeah, I'll
IMDb.
check it
Wow.
out.
Are you okay over there? You're forgetting a lot of things,
Well, no,
tonight.
I specifically asked AI that
Okay.
question.
And that's on you for
Right.
relying on
I
AI,
know.
you know? I mean, shame on you, but and now, not that AI will have anything to do with the editing of this particular episode of the Oh Brother podcast,
Yeah,
so,
right.
don't cast, aspersions on us, but so, yeah, they've worked together numerous times. Of course, a bunch of the Kevin Smith films, Dogma, and, all those films, that were big cult hits, but
Jay and
now
Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob, yeah. But here we are with this film, The Rip, which as of right now, it's as every film is for a time on Netflix, the number one film on Netflix. That everybody holds that spot for a week or two.
Yeah, but this is kinda significant this time because they cut a deal.
Yeah.
There was 1,200 people involved in the making of the film,
Hmm.
and there
Are you
are
going to talk about
incent
what it is? You going to set up the
Yeah.
film yet?
Yeah, you want me to do that?
Yeah, give us the quick
Okay,
two
so the
second
name of it is called
synopsis.
The Rip, and there's a bunch of different meanings behind that, but going by the director, it's basically when you take the bad guy's money, like cops take the bad guy's money. That's kind of a rip. Let's rip this crime scene.
Well, yeah, it isn't them stealing the bad guy's money. That's not exactly what it is, because that would imply corruption, which is relevant, of course. Here we're going to talk about that, but
Right.
yeah, it's these stash houses that they find that have all this money in it, and this is a real thing. I mean, this was based on Joe Carnahan, the director, had buddies in the
One
detectives.
specifically, Matt Damon is
Hmm.
playing a guy named Chris, Cassiano.
Hmm.
It's loosely based on him.
Did you get that?
Loosely.
Did you get that pronunciation from AI to help you with that?
No, that's my own bad writing.
Now, Carna has written a lot. He wrote Smokin' Aces, which was a film.
Correct.
I like Smokin' Aces.
And Affleck was in that.
Was he? Oh, okay,
Yep.
forget
Yeah.
who from Entourage. Jeremy Piven was in Smokin'
Yeah.
Aces as well. He wrote a few episodes of The Blacklist, which I know you were a fan of.
Yeah.
And then he directed the film The Gray with Liam Neeson, which I never saw. I don't know if
Yeah,
you saw that one with the wolf. That
I
whole
did, but
yeah.
I don't think I made it to the end.
Yeah. All right. So you were telling this thing about the Netflix deal here. Why this is a significant collaboration with not only the two of them, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, but Netflix.
It's their first film for Netflix. Who knows how, if they'll sign a long-term deal like Adam Sandler or somebody like that. But the significance was the contract that 1,200 people that were working on the film, there are incentive payments that they're entitled to if it reaches certain benchmarks. Now, I
Hmm.
read that, and that has not been done before. So I read that and I thought, okay, who's gonna who's gonna sit and say what those benchmark like you said, every movie is like the number one movie ever for a week.
Well, no, it's very well structured. This is not just some thing they pull out of thin air. This is a very structured deal that they have. Now, we should say, and it's the first thing I think you see that pops up on the screen when you watch this, which is the name of Affleck and Damon's company, Artists Equity.
Right.
And as you're pointing out, it's this whole attempt to broaden profit participation, equity, artist equity, in these films. And as you said, this is the first of its kind for Netflix. This has been done before, but
Correct.
because they've got deals with like Apple and some of the other streamers. In fact, that's what I was thinking of. We have reviewed 3 of the movies that they've done through Artist Equity, and you probably don't realize that, but Air was one of them,
Okay.
okay? The Instigators, which was Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, if you remember, we did an episode on that. Mike
Wow.
has to go way back in the Oh Brother
Uh,
podcast
my
archives in his own brain.
my brain is just rumbling
You
right
gotta get
now.
more sleep. And then The Accountant 2 was another, vehicle through Artist Equity.
Okay, but Damon wasn't in that one. I know that.
No, no, no. no, that was, John Bernthal and Affleck.
And they've, like, produced each other's films and stuff. I think
Right.
it's great that, Good Will Hunting was huge, great hit,
Mhm.
and they did the Kevin Smith stuff, like you said, but then they kinda each took a separate path, Damon with Bourne Identity,
Yeah,
Ben Affleck with Batman, the Accountant.
sure.
So it's kinda cool that, it's not they don't rely on each other,
Mhm.
but they're also still really good friends, and it's just great when they work together. There's a chemistry they have that, like you said, it goes back to when they were kids.
Yeah, yeah, and I love this, about them that they are doing this. Now, I was saying this is a very structured deal with Netflix because, it was funny, there was I've seen so many interviews with them and the cast, about this film, but they were talking about the deal. They get asked about it a lot and how this works, so they've been talking about it quite a bit. And, it's a lot of it is based on views, right? Primarily. It's what's the viewership on this is
Right.
really how they determine that. And it was funny because Matt Damon was talking about there's different levels. There's like 5 levels that they work out, they agree to through the agreement that they set up with
Okay.
Netflix, okay? And the 5th level is like 135% viewership, which basically is like everybody who has a Netflix account watches the film and then watches it again, right? And
Wow.
like, okay, like that's going to happen. Well, guess what? K-pop Demon Hunters did that very thing.
Yeah. If
So,
those girls had that deal, they'd be
mhm,
raking in cash. And,
right.
like, famously, studios like Jack Nicholson is the most famous one to me, who took on the Joker, and every time a Batman movie gets made, he gets paid.
And he's get any toy like the merch and all of that,
Oh, he knew it was gonna be a hit, so he's like, "Don't
Right,
pay me.
right.
Instead, give me this."
Now, an important thing here too is something that Ben points out is that everybody's getting like their base pay. Nobody's
Correct.
taking a cut, right? It's all about the incentives, the bonuses and things that you can potentially earn.
Right.
And the whole concept, right, is that it 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 motivates everybody to be that much more invested in the making of whatever that thing is, in this
But
case, the feature film.
my question to you is, if Netflix are policing that, how do we know? Because they're the ones that gather that information, correct?
Yes, but you have to, believe that in the contract, in the agreement, they open the books
I
and,
hope so.
of course they do, right. There has to be some legal,
Right.
governance there or something, but, so I don't think it's where they're just like, "Oh, just sorry, fellas, it didn't do so well," and
Missed it by
meanwhile,
5 viewers.
you were so close, yeah. So, but, again, the principle of the thing is it's very commendable and it reminded me of the thing they did. This is over 20 years ago now, Project Greenlight. Do you remember that
Yeah, on
with Matt
HBO.
with Matt and Ben? Yeah.
Yep.
It was more of like a reality show, but similar in the sense that it's really creating a vehicle by which somebody could potentially get their script made into a feature film.
And I submitted a treatment for that show,
Was
Project
that
Greenlight.
our feature film
I
or
think
no?
so.
Okay,
The
we
one
have to
about the
go back.
will.
Yeah, we gotta go back and polish that up and make it 21st century worthy and try to get
It's
that
it's
made.
it's based on a real case I read in law school that's I told you about,
I
and we
know,
were both like, "This should be a
and
movie."
it's that good. So,
Yeah.
listen, but, here things take time, right? Things take time, so everything comes back around eventually, but so I love that about this, and, Uh, I guess we should let's just mention a little bit. I mean, besides the 2 of them, Steven Yeun is in it as well. Everybody would know him from as Glenn from Walking Dead. Everybody
Right.
remembers Glenn from The Walking Dead, and
Yep.
if you know what we're talking about, go Google it, folks. Teyana Taylor. Now, you saw one battle after another, so I That's the only way that I know her because I've seen a lot of the hype and press for that film, and I was trying to get a watch in of it, but I wasn't able to, and she just won the Golden Globe, I think, for
Just
that,
won the
correct?
Golden Globe, and she's favored to win the Oscar.
I think is she a musical artist too? My apologies for being ignorant on Teyana Taylor, but I did like her in this film. I thought she was cool in The Rip.
Yes, and
Now,
she
was
was
she
great
great
in one
one
battle
bout?
after another. Yep.
Okay, with PT Anderson, and then Sasha Cally, who plays a character named Desi. Look at she would have been a good Supergirl, Superwoman, right?
Yeah.
And she got tossed aside when we moved into the gun
Oh, that's right.
universe.
She
She
was
was.
that
That's right.
character.
That was her.
In The Flash.
That's correct.
Wow.
That was her. Kyle Chandler is in this. He's got a
Yeah.
long resume, and he was great
People
in this
might
as
know
well.
him most from Friday Night Lights, the TV show.
Yes. The only other actor I wanted to mention was Nestor Carbonell, who is in the opening sequence. He plays like Matt Damon's boss, and there's the opening sequence of the film is the two of them in an office talking to each other. He's also on the morning show, so I really like him.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was kind of just nice to see him pop up in this one, but
Yeah.
good cast. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Now, it's not a great film. It's not like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. But, I'm a little biased because, again, it's Matt and Ben. I love Matt and Ben. I love them together. I love them independently. And I thought we joke about this a lot on the podcast, and you're much better at it than I am, but this kind of who done it thing. And we have, Mike, can you explain for the listeners who Joe McDokes is?
It's Joe McDokes is a character from a TV show. I think it was called Behind the Eight Ball. And the joke we always say to ourselves, this is so McDokes. He was so obvious that everybody could tell what he was going to do before he did it. So we refer to that as a McDokes. And I see what you're saying because in this film, there's twists and turns, and you never quite know who's good, who's bad until it unfolds. But there's a couple of McDokes in it. Yeah, there he is behind the eight ball, and it's just called Joe McDokes.
It was something, yeah, I guess Joe McDokes was what it was. Yeah, right.
And we discovered that
George O'Hanlon. We should finally give George O'Hanlon some credit for being Joe McDokes.
You could have given me 100 guesses. I wouldn't have come up with that. But
No
we discovered that show on the old Comedy Channel.
Yes. With it's the guy that did Sniglets on HBO, the Sniglets,
That's right.
Rich Hall.
Rich Hall.
The great Rich Hall.
He was on
yeah.
SNL the year, that Billy Crystal did it.
That's right. There's a name. It was the show that was on the Comedy Channel at that time, and this would interrupt it. And it's like the Flying Coaster or the Rolling something. Do you remember? It was the Sidecar, something Sidecar. Anyways, it'll come to you by the time we finish the episode. But
yeah.
But I thought they did a good job here. I thought I knew and I didn't, and then I thought I knew again, and I never really knew. So I don't know about how did you find that to be in terms of how they it played out in the story? Were you fooled?
I knew something was going on, but I couldn't have told you. Like I was like, there's going to be a twist here.
Okay.
It seems too obvious to me
that
he's giving out some of this information.
Did you guess it correctly?
I guessed one of them correctly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say which because
and we
should give it away.
Let's add, because people are like, what the hell are you talking about? But you gave the synopsis. But anyways, they come upon the stash house. There's a tip on the stash house in Miami where they are. And, there's a certain amount of money there. It's several $100,000 or something. Well, they get there and they discover it's a whole lot more than that, enough to where it would put all the characters at play into this real morally ambiguous situation, right? Because I don't care who you are. If you're in a situation and there's millions of dollars all of a sudden to be had, you're gonna start looking at each other, and there's gonna be a lot of, chit-chatting going on about,
You know, the 2
what do we do
females,
here?"
Tiana Taylor and her counterpart,
Mhm.
they're holding up just a small stack of what
Yes.
was in that stash house, and they're like, "This could change my life.
Right. I should
This
say
little bit."
Lena Esco and Catalina Sandino Moreno. Those are the other 2 women that are featured in the film. You're right about that. You know what? I love that you just mentioned that because I think I took, just like a shot while I was watching the film because I didn't wanna forget it, and I think that was the moment. She holds up this just little wad of bills,
Right. It's literally this thick.
but it was really that was really a poignant moment
Yep.
because it really gets across the whole sort of thing here that they're struggling with. Like this, I'm set for life with just this, and they had buckets of it.
Right.
So what
I
would
mean,
you
they
do?
estimated, 20,000,000.
Yeah, you and I, we're down the street. Let's
I
be
think I'm
honest.
filling my pockets. I
Yeah,
I don't think like, you worked for a bank, which our whole family did,
that's right.
sans me. I was the only one that didn't,
That's
and
right.
I swear I would have taken money from the from the till.
Well, a funny story is I not only did I work at the bank, but I worked in the vault at the bank. So take a kid who's like 15 and put him in
Right.
a bank vault. What could possibly go wrong, Mr.
Right, right.
Duran? But anyways, and the Brinks truck guys would come in with these huge duffel bags, and I knew there was tons of money right there sitting beside me.
Just piles of
Never
cash.
took a dime, never took a dollar. Now, there's another story I could tell, but I won't. Maybe if you subscribe to the Yo Brother podcast and support the show, that might be a bonus episode Mike and I will do about a little jam I might have got myself into.
Oh,
But let's say
you.
the good folks at the Vatican might not be so proud.
Well, in that same bank, a person I went to school with that will remain nameless was caught embezzling 35 grand.
Yes, yes. I was not, to be clear. That was not
Yeah,
me, but
and
uh,
no one in our family, uh, that we
correct.
know of was
Alle
convicted.
Allegedly, yeah, exactly. I mean, mom a little on the shady side, but
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? She says she was a bookkeeper,
right.
anyways, she couldn't have been in a better position to walk off with, some cash, but, trust us,
This
folks,
is
we can vouch that
th
she got away with nothing.
and this is prior to computers.
Right.
So, like you said, our mother was an accountant. She counted money.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and literally was,
Not
keeping
for
the
me,
record in
dude.
the books. No, no,
I
no.
think I would have been too tempted.
Now let's talk a little bit about Joe Carnahan again, though, the director, because it's a well shot film, and it's
Yeah,
funny. A lot of this, there's some of it's on sets, and they're using some of the filmmaking trickery, if you will. But did any of this come to you in terms of the look? Okay, so cinematically, again, it's Netflix, but
right.
cinematically, the what you're seeing there, cinematography wise, um, Thief. We've talked about Michael Mann. We've done some of his films on the podcast. The movie Thief or Heat, any
Yeah,
Michael Mann film, for example, because what are the two? What are two of the hallmarks? And there are
blue,
many. Wet streets and there's kind of blue
bluish.
lighting, and
Yes.
you saw that here. And then also I had seen that I don't know, one of the clips I was looking at or watching, they mentioned Serpico,
Hmm.
and I wondered that's, big Serpico fan. I wondered
I
if that had,
just watched it just
and
recently.
that's the same kind of thing going on, right, with Serpico, and that's also based on a true story.
Correct. Serpico wouldn't take bribe money.
Yeah,
Like, we're not saying that police officers do that. I'm sure none of them do.
right.
But they go around to businesses and they collect money, so they'll look after your place in the off hours.
Okay, I'm gonna play the other side of this since you just lost some viewers. The men and women in blue in uniform, you just totally killed us on the
Well,
subscribers. But uh, I want to play the other side of that because I think not only in Serpico, but in this film, and look, and today, all you gotta do is look at the headlines, look at any sort of news
Right.
feed, and you can see it's hard out there, folks. It's tough on them streets, but listen, like in any profession, right? You just said the woman at the bank embezzled the money, like, okay, there's good and bad, right? There's bad apples everywhere, and this
Right.
is one of those professions that gets, the thin blue line, the whole thing. It gets looked at and pointed at very easily. But there are think about okay, I want to say with all of this, silliness that's going on in the world right now, there was a press conference going on with the I think it was the chief of police in Philadelphia. And let me tell you something, that woman does not play around. She was not pulling any punches, speaking her mind about what she thought of the current state of affairs that are going on in the streets of this country. But um, she was making a point about, there are so many men and women here that work really, really hard
Mhm.
to sort of battle against that. It's like salmon swimming upstream. You know what I mean? You're doing good. You're getting up every day and doing an honest day's work. And then you got these knuckleheads over here that are giving you a bad rap. It's
And,
unfortunate.
the problem is the knuckleheads, and I'm thinking of a politician in the last couple of years. Remember, they found gold bars in his trunk, and I don't even know what side he was on. I
Mm,
just know he was corrupt.
yeah.
And that one bad apple does spoil a whole, bunch.
Well, that's what we tend to focus on, right? We
Yeah.
do, the news feed every night isn't about the cats that have been rescued in the trees. I mean, that is
Or
not
the
what we're
homeless
seeing.
people that are being taken care of because of a policy this person passed.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, John Krasinski, member, for a couple of minutes had this thing during COVID. I think it was he had the good news or the happy news or whatever this channel was that he had started on YouTube. I think it was or something. And it was a kind of this feel good content that we needed at that time,
Yeah.
and then the son of a gun ended up selling it to some corporate whatever,
Oh,
and it
wow.
just went away, and it was really
I
I kinda
didn't
bummed out
know
because I
that.
like John, another Boston boy,
Right.
but anyways, there was also, I have to say, um, Joe Rogan's podcast, which, you like the guy or not, it's the most popular podcast in the world, and he gets millions and millions of views on every single
Mhm.
episode.
Shocking he was not nominated for a Golden Globe.
Well, there's a good example though.
Yeah,
Really
probably
well,
people.
no, listen, I love Amy Poehler, The Good
Right,
Hang. Come on, she's been around for 2 minutes. Now listen, she grew up one town over from us, so we love Amy Poehler, make no mistake about it.
right.
But, uh, come on. First of all, let's not get started on the award show stuff because we know how we feel about that at the Oprah the podcast. Um, but anyways, I bring that up to say that I watched, Matt and Ben on Joe
Yeah, I know
Rogan's
they
podcast.
recently appeared on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he does these it's long form. You're talking like 2.5 hours,
Correct.
and they talk about everything, and it's literally just nothing planned, just it's 3 guys in this case just having a conversation, and they had this awesome conversation about the state of the box office and streaming, which we have talked ad nauseum about on the podcast. We've got
Right.
episodes devoted to it, and it was really fascinating because here's 2 very well-known celebrities, movie stars, and at kind of, the top of their game still, I'd say. And
Mhm.
but there's a recognition and an awareness. Ben was the one that was talking quite a bit about it that listen, you can't sit here and proselytize about the fact that people like families just can't afford to go to the movies. Like sometimes it's just simple economics.
Right,
And so you have to just acknowledge the fact that this is kind of where people are, where they're turning to. And, they were certainly talking about the things like, for example, when you're streaming or when you're in the theater, you can't just turn the channel. So the investment of walking out is a lot greater than it
right,
would be if you're in your living room, right? And because they were talking about the experience of watching a film with other people and all of
right,
this and so forth
right.
and so on. So it's a fascinating conversation. I would encourage folks to check that episode out. It was pretty interesting. But I'm curious to know, what did you think about the film? What's your feeling about it?
Overall, I liked it because
Mhm.
I like them. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And I liked
Sure.
all the acting. I like Steven, Yeun, is that how you say it?
Stephen Yun.
Yeun.
Yeah.
I like Kyle Chandler.
Mhm.
I was into it. Right from the
Yeah.
jump, I was kind of into it. I was into the mystery, you know. We left one point out about the story is it starts out with this, female officer getting killed,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she leaves behind some evidence, hoping, I think, for one of them to find, which they
Mhm.
do, which
Right.
kinda sets this in motion.
Mhm.
But, like you said, some people are gonna guess the twists or the turns.
Mhm.
Other people won't have a clue and won't see it coming. And even if I did guess the turn, it didn't hurt the movie for me. I was still entertained.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a point in the movie where the only thing I would complain about was some of the dark sequences where it was tricky to
Mm.
figure, okay, who's fighting with who now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was just, I don't know. That was just probably me and my bad eyes. I don't know. But I
Maybe.
enjoyed the film.
Yeah. Yeah, as did I, and I'm cycling through for those that are watching and or listening and not
Pictures of
watching.
the cast.
I'm cycling through clips from, images from the movie, and then here's a nice shot of the entire cast here that you can see. And
And
but yeah,
I
I
don't know,
enjoyed it too. I thought
did
it
you
was an
hear
enjoyable film.
Matt's, the whole reason came up for them to work together again?
Yes, I did, which I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to bring it up at the start of the podcast. Yeah, tell us what the
Well,
impetus was.
he was watching Peter Jackson, the Beatles documentary.
Matt
Eh,
Damon was.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Get Back.
Right. And he was thinking how Lennon and McCartney, there was so much more there. There was so much more work to be done. And I told you right up until he got shot, they were gonna get back together for sure.
I mean, that was what, 1971, I think, when that rooftop, concert happened. That was the last performance they did together in public.
Okay, yeah, 71, okay.
Right,
I
right.
went somewhere else for a second, I don't know
Mhm,
why.
yeah, and you and I
And
watched that together side by side in the same room, and we're just
all th
mesmerized by it.
all 3 parts
All 3 parts,
in
yeah.
one sitting, I think, right?
Yeah, well, you couldn't help it. It was that good,
Oh, it was if you haven't seen it, it's on the Disney Plus channel.
and we did an episode on it, folks.
Correct. But, then I think his daughter
Yes.
asked him, "Hey, how come you're not with, Ben anymore and working with him?" And that
Mhm.
kinda set off a thing. Yeah, we should, do more work together. And I should add Casey Affleck because he kinda gets forgotten, and he's in all those movies as well, usually a smaller part, but he's become a big star on his own,
Yeah,
which
director
is
too,
Ben's younger brother.
producer, yeah. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, it was I love that story that, she's, I mean, and of course, as you're getting older, they're of a similar age to us, and,
Yeah.
yeah, you think, let's not waste these years that we have left, and nobody knows, quite frankly, so I'm glad to see that, it makes me excited about, future projects that they're gonna do, and also, again, this company that they've got with Artists Equity, which they founded it in what, 2022, I guess. So, it's still somewhat in its infancy, but hopefully it can take because it's interesting to note, I think, that it's probably, Mike, no more important than it is now. You know what I mean? Like, again, the whole box state of the box office, the
Right.
fact that there continues to be a huge shift into streaming, something like this is probably even more important
Yeah.
to have in
And
place.
we did a year in review that's up on our website,
Mhm.
and it wasn't a bad year. It really wasn't. It didn't reach the milestone they were hoping for, which was 9 billion, but it came close. It did 8 something.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty optimistic on we got Star Wars coming this year. We've got the Russo brothers back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I'm a big fan of.
Mhm.
It's totally in the toilet right now. I'm
Yeah.
hoping they'll revive it. There's a lot of movies that have me excited. John Krasinski's got another, what's
The
that
Quiet
franchise?
Place.
Quiet Place 3, which I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
The Bride. I mean, we've covered so many films that are coming that we're excited about to see, but how many of those will we see in the theater? Now, Ben and Matt on the Joe Rogan Experience, they talked about The Odyssey. That came up really quick. Now, that's a film I will see in the theater because of the way that Christopher Nolan shoots his films. Obviously, they're intended. I mean, every filmmaker is really intending them to be seen on the big screen, but certainly him. In fact, we noted when we did the first look on The Odyssey, we did a trailer reaction episode on that because, of course, it's not out yet. And we were commenting on how he's using new IMAX technology that hasn't been used before. So
I was gonna
that's
bring that up. If you have
it's
an
an epic
IMAX near you, that should be your first choice
for
for any
sure.
film. It's
Oh
just a
yeah.
different experience.
But again, it's the cost. It's not cheap to get those IMAX
Right.
tickets, right? So it's an
Have you
investment.
noticed the popcorn containers are not as relevant as they were?
I have noticed that now that you say it. Yeah. There's no rip bucket that I'm aware of.
Right. And I
Uh,
think that's
mm,
a sign that people like, okay, I got a room full of these and I spent
yeah.
$1,000 on 5 buckets.
Yeah, go back a handful of episodes, folks, and you'll hear a great, fascinating story about consumer concession vessels. In fact, we have one at the O Brother podcast here. For just 99.99, you can. Well, Mike just broke the only one that we
Yeah.
had. Actually, that was the
See how it
prototype.
stood up to that, potential damage?
Yes. Yeah.
99.99. I'll send you
It's
2.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, but I don't know. That's where things are going to continue to go, I think. And so I do feel that with the work that they're doing, and hopefully this will inspire others to establish similar ventures and invest in this kind of thing.
And there's this whole thing right now with Netflix taking over Warner Brothers, with Paramount trying to do it. We don't know literally what the movie universe is gonna look like by the end of the year.
Yeah, we're definitely going through another sort of metamorphosis or whatever you want to say with it. Yeah, I don't know where we're going to come out on the other side with this whole thing, but I tend to agree with the statement you made towards the top of the episode, which is Ben and Matt first and foremost are what got me to watch this film. If it was
Yeah.
just a couple of whoever, I probably wouldn't have even watched it.
Now, would you
So
have gone to the theater to see it?
if I still had the choice to watch it on streaming, I think I may have. I may have. It's maybe 70-30.
Yeah,
Because again, I like these guys so much. I believe in what they're doing. So I think I also would believe in, it's like a charity, right? You go to everywhere you go now, it's like, oh, do you want to give? So, and I always do. I always say yes. I always give more money
right.
than everybody else, but I don't know where that money's really going, and
Correct.
so, but I want to believe that my investment is going to a worthwhile cause and it's going to, so, and Matt and Ben clearly um, are doing that with artists' equity. So, I'll continue to support and watch the films they're putting out. As I said, we've done 3 episodes, this now being the 4th, actually,
And
on the artist equity films.
as you pointed out, that money, that deal they negotiated wasn't for them. It was for everybody that worked for them. Because
Correct.
they're gonna make their money. They're the
They've already made their
stars.
money.
Correct.
They've already made their money, and they
So that
recognize
deal was
that.
significant for the people that they partner with.
Right. They didn't need to do this, so to come together again and again, they've had the company since 2022, but it's good. It's a good thing they're doing. I hope the film continues to do well for that reason. But it is a good film. It's a great streaming watch for sure.
Yeah, I don't see it winning any awards.
Probably not, but they really, the building of tension and the keeping you guessing, they really did a good job. I mean, it worked.
I
It
think
really
that's a
worked.
really good point, the tension throughout.
It really
kept
was.
me engaged. Like, I didn't wanna get up and get a drink or anything like that.
Now I had put up, a shot of the cast earlier and then a couple of other shots, a couple of female leads, and, I will say though, I I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I did feel like the women got a bit of a short shrift in terms of screen time. Did you not feel that way?
Yeah, no, I
Y
agree.
like 2 of the female detectives are kinda stuck at the house the whole time while they're out doing
Right.
other I don't know, I just think they coulda had more screen time, but there you go. So, alright, anything else to say about The Rip, Mike, now streaming on Netflix?
If you have Netflix, check it out. I think
Definitely
you'll
check
like
it
it.
out. Yeah, support the Boston boys, support these Boston brothers, if you will. Again, if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, and, I'm gonna take a second to do this because, I always say I'm going to, and I never do, but we have had now, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you wanna listen to us, the podcast is on all the podcast platforms, so if you wanna take us with you, listen in the car, whatever you wanna do, and we appreciate everybody that has made the decision to do that. We, are deeply grateful. Um, Leonardo Jardim, Mike, Joe the Firestarter, Samuel Delgado, Deandra King, Josh Yaskovic, Melissa Koenig, horror film fanatics, Rita St. John. These are just some of the people that have subscribed to the podcast in, fairly recently. So we thank all of you. It really makes a difference. It helps. Mike and I would like to continue to first do this, but also do it better and better and better and be able to do even more things. And your support helps us move even closer to that goal. So there's other ways you can do it, not only by subscribing, liking the videos, downloading the episodes. If you're listening, give a thumbs up, all those sort of things. But if you listen to the podcast or if you go to our website, there are links to where you can support the show. And that's a direct support of us. And Mike, we would be remiss, and I know he's been waiting for it, but this is a very special episode because if we did not shout out the great Paul Barris, we would be, I don't know what
Paul
would happen. Yeah.
Paul
Does that
who?
sound familiar? Yeah. Now, Paul, of course, has been a supporter of the podcast almost from the beginning. And say a little bit about Paul, because you came to know Paul before I did.
Yeah, me and Paul would hang out in video game chats, and we're always trying to bring levity to whatever they're talking about. Like, he'll throw
Yeah.
out a joke, I'll throw out a joke. But Paul's a Wisconsin guy. He's a family guy. He's got a son that's a senior playing football, I think, this year.
Sorry about Green Bay there, Paul.
Yeah, sorry, Paul. We would have liked to have faced you, but
Sorry, Paul.
Paul, it's one of those weird things that happens on social media. You meet people, you feel like, hey, this is a
Uh-huh.
friend of mine. I know this guy.
Yes.
And you form a kind of relationship. And he's just been a great supporter, makes comments a lot.
Yeah, and he signed up to be a supporter, and we deeply appreciate it. We had some offline emails with Paul, and that really makes a difference, and it helps us out quite a bit. And so you can support the show in a couple of different ways. If you go to the links, the support the show links on the podcast, you'll see you can just support the show monetarily if you're able and you desire to do that. We would obviously be greatly appreciative. But you can also support and get early access to the audio episodes as well. So you can get the podcast episodes days before everybody else is getting them. So if that's something you're looking for, and if the support continues to grow, again, it allows us to do more and more things. And Lord knows Mike and I have some kooky ideas that we'd certainly be willing to get off the ground. Maybe revisit cruising. And I have to say, Mike, we are going to probably be back and dust this Oh Brother um, episode theme off, which is Oh Brother Trivia. Mike threw down the gauntlet recently
Yeah.
and he said, you know what? You've been ducking me for too long, Smith, and it's time. We're going to go head to head again with movie trivia.
I think I lost the last round. So
Did you?
I want the
Okay.
crown back.
Okay, well, we're either split or because you were wiping the floor with me for
I
a
had
bit.
beat you a few times, but the
Yeah.
last one I know I lost.
But now we have AI in the mix. So not only will that help maybe generate some questions, I think Paul actually helped us out one time. Did he not supply some of the questions as a kind of neutral party? I believe he did.
Oh, I don't
I
remember
think
that.
that was Paul, yeah.
Oh,
Paul,
funny.
that was you if my memory serves well, but, so we'll find a way to do that, but I gotta also make sure that you're not using AI to cheat. So, we gotta
Right.
it's gotta be
Well,
on the
I think both of us it's like if we have to cheat, it's not I wouldn't feel any kind of satisfaction in beating you.
That's true, that's true. Now, if we were stuck in the same room together surrounded by buckets of cash, you know,
I might cheat
yeah,
there.
you get the rosary beads out and maybe say a couple Hail Marys and a couple Our Fathers. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. The Rip, streaming on Netflix. Oh Brother says, check this one out. We think you'll enjoy it. And again, big fans of Matt and Ben here, and the whole cast. The acting was great. Everything about the film was great. So, as I said, I
Yeah.
think this is one that really does play well on streaming. I mean, you really kind of caught me with that. Would you've seen it in the theater? I don't know. I like them so much. I would like to think that I would, but I don't know. Everybody's kind of moving in that direction where it's just more convenient and all the other things. So,
Right.
but it's
Right.
a good film. Check it out. The Rip on Netflix. Mike, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Yo Brother podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, of course, is my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will absolutely, without a doubt, see you next time.
Bye, everyone.